Hey everybody, it's Glenn back in this video with a new episode of Action Figure Evolution. You know how it works. We take a look at the various action figure incarnations of one particular character throughout the years, and in this, the biggest ever Action Figure Evolution episode, it's Venom. So let's kick it off with the very earliest one I have. It's from way back in 1992. It's the Marvel Superheroes Venom made by Toy Biz back when Marvel Legends were just a glimmer in their eye. And as we take an even closer look, you're perhaps wondering why the great ruddy big hole in his back. Well, my friends, wonder no more. As he comes with this plunger which we need to fill with water, and then the plunger inserts into the action figure's back. Take this, Spider-Man! Huh? Well, it's probably a better attack should Venom ever square off with the Wicked Witch of the West. Then that figure was reused for Talking Venom, which will live on in infamy as the action figure that says, "Die, Spider-Man." And I want to eat your brain. If you didn't quite catch that, he said, "I want to eat your brain. I want to eat your brain. I want to eat your brain." And why not? I'm sure it's a very good source of protein. I want to eat your brain. Moving on to 1994, and the wildly popular Spider-Man animated series debuted, accompanied by perhaps the even more popular action figures, such as this one from the 4th series in 1995, which featured a secret identity reveal. Bum, bum, bum! It's Eddie Brock, whose ugly mug we'll be seeing again before this video is done. We now move on to our next Venom action figure, a curious entry indeed, and like the previous one, he has a secret of his own to reveal. That secret being when alien symbiotes like to beat one out, they double fist it. Oh yeah. Then in 1997, the Spider-Man animated series came to an end, yet the Spider-Man action figures continued to be pumped out. Yet without the animated series to ground them, they jumped the shark and web splashes and the like were born. Toys designed to help parents lure their kids into the bathtub, so these guys came with various water-friendly inflatable accessories and other such nonsense, which have now over time been lost to landfill or incineration, because, you know, that's how good they were, and now only the figures remain. But if any action figure deserved a nemesis, then Scuba Spider-Man certainly did, and he got one in Black Sea Venom. Part alien symbiote, part shark or piranha mess of scaly finned underwater bizarreness. Then for whatever reason on the days they just plain couldn't make shit up anymore, they based comic book action figures on actual comic books. Bizarre. For example, Venom the Madness, as he appeared in the Venom Planet of the Symbiotes limited series, although in the comic book he was without the goofy green paint deco. Don't worry, there was a regular Venom looking version of this action figure, but both had the same action feature: popping attack heads. Then came the year 2000, and if, like me, you're old enough to remember when the year 2000 was a distant future that would no doubt be filled with flying cars and the like, well, for action figures, the year 2000 meant Spider-Man Classics, which compared to what had gone before were very much action figures from the future beamed to the present. Yep, Toy Biz broke the action figure mold. It's easy now to take these action figures for granted, but for the giant leap they represent, you only have to think that prior to these, action figures had pretty much remained unchanged for decades. It was all largely 5 points of articulation and naive sculpting. Then suddenly we get ones with articulation that you need more than one hand to count, and sculpts that finally did comic book art justice. So Spider-Man Classics inspired Marvel Legends, and Legends took that adult collector torch, and boy did they run with it. Meanwhile, Spider-Man Classics returned to more kiddie-friendly territory, yet with the two lines running alongside each other, a primarily Spider-Man character like Venom was underrepresented in Legends, popping up much more regularly in Spider-Man Classics, which we will return to in a moment. But on the subject of Marvel Legends, today only 2 Venom Marvel Legends have been released. The first one came in the Sinister Six box set, which you see here, and was a redeco of the earlier release Sabretooth with a new head, and as with most Marvel Legends, it's best appreciated when taking advantage of its superposability. Released in 2004, 12 years after the first Venom action figure seen in this video, and in that time, as we compare the two, we go from 7 points of articulation to a whopping 44. Action figure evolution. Such was the popularity of Marvel Legends that in 2006 it was spun off into a 12-inch scale series known as Marvel Legends Icons. In Series 2, Venom got his own icon, which you see here on the left of the screen, dwarfing the regular Marvel Legends Sinister Six Venom. Turning to Spidey Classics and Toy Biz, still do try and nod the hat towards the adult collector, as with the Spider-Man Classics Venom from 2002. For its day, quite a decent looking action figure, but for the kids it came with this alien oozing Spider-Man slime trap display base. And as Venom watches on, prepare to be alien oozed, Spider-Man. Yep, alien oozed in any minute now. Come on. Yep, come on. Oh, for pity's sake. If you want an alien ooze a superhero, you may as just bloody well do it yourself. Then a year or so later, Spider-Man Classics brought us Symbiote Blast Venom, still very well regarded and considered to be one of the best Venom action figures. Toy Biz certainly liked it enough that they reused it for their Stealth Venom, and then when the Marvel action figure license transferred from Toy Biz to Hasbro, they also reused it for the very first Mac Gargan Venom action figure. And if you're wondering why he's called Symbiote Blast Venom, he comes with this missile-firing accessory. Here's the missile for it. You won't mistake that for anybody else's but Venom. It fits in here, and fire! As for the big ugly button on his back, that's for his jaw-chomping action. And by jaw-chomping action, they mean that tiny quiver of his lower jaw right there. Ever wondered what a motorbike possessed by the Venom alien symbiote would look like? Probably like this. This came originally with a Venom action figure to ride it, which has been lost to time, so only the motorbike remains. Admit it, you want it. Like Marvel Legends, Spider-Man Classics also tried to take a bite out of the 12-inch scale market with the action figure you see here. It's rotocast, so it doesn't have the quality of the Marvel Legends icons, but I actually prefer the head sculpt on this one to the icons. So in 2007, with Toy Biz no more and Hasbro now operating the Marvel action figure license, in 2008 it was changed in more ways than one, as we also got a new Spider-Man animated series, Spectacular Spider-Man, and here is Venom as he appeared in that animated series. I really love the stylized proportions of this action figure, and it's very true to the animated style. Then we have Hasbro's take on comic continuity with their second Mac Gargan action figure. Mac Gargan previously was the Spider-Man villain known as Scorpion before coming host to the Venom symbiote. So Venom received a Stinger Strike tail. It is removable from the action figure and features a bunch of articulation, more so than some of Hasbro's other action figures of the time. In 2007, Venom made his cinematic debut in the third Spider-Man movie, and here we see a trio of movie incarnations. The largest one here is from the Marvel Legends Spider-Man Trilogy Sandman Build-A-Figure series. It's a very good rendition of the movie Incarnation, but ultimately it's judged on how much or how little you like the movie, and for many, it's more of a case of how little. And speaking of little, Hasbro shrank the line of the third Spider-Man movie to 5-inch scale, as you see here on the right of the screen. Under Toy Biz's reign, movie lines had been 6-inch scale, so the size got smaller, yet the prices didn't. Hasbro cited rising production costs. I cited them being greedy money grubbers. And the cynical part of me thinks the 5-inch scale Hasbro chose in 2007 was to ease us into further shrinkage with the 3 3/4-inch Marvel Universe line that Hasbro debuted the following year. While officially none of these here are Marvel Universe, they do show how a 3 3/4-inch scale spread like a plague, becoming the dominant scale from 2009 and only really recently being beaten back into second place with the 6-inch scale Infinite Legends. Yet this one here wasn't that bad as far as sculpts go, I suppose. I believe he's called Stretch Strike Venom. Came with a most curious accessory though. Sorry girls, batteries not included. Then in 2012, Spider-Man got a movie reboot with The Amazing Spider-Man, yet alas for we 6-inch scale collectors, the scale wasn't rebooted, remaining at 3 3/4 inch, and Hasbro rubbed salt in the wounds with further cost cutting, leaving even the most die-hard 3 3/4 inch scale collectors to complain about quality. Oh, the irony. So the articulation, paint apps and overall quality began to disappear, but one thing was constant, the goofy accessories and action features. Case in point is this Ultimate Spider-Man Power Webb's Venom. He has this action feature where you fit these parts in here, and it does this. What is that? It's like something Jane Fonda would flog you as a keep fit aid on the shopping channel. And if he doesn't fit, he does also come in large, and I guess at the very least a big crap toy is better than a little crap toy. That is perhaps unless you're the 6-inch scale Webb Battler's Venom, which comes with an action feature whereby he whips you and himself. Then perhaps proving that size isn't everything, it's our littlest additions to Venom action figure evolution. These are left to right, the Lego Venom, then the Lego wannabe Mega Bloks Venom, and lastly Marvel Superhero Squad Venom. And now it's a trio of an entirely different kind, all with the collector in mind. It's a Marvel Select Venom Fest. First of these, it's Ultimate Venom, and while the sculpt on this is phenomenal, the articulation is really quite lacking, as this is one of the early Marvel Selects, and back then you were pretty much buying a 7-inch scale statue with a few bonus moving parts. Then one much more recent, it's Agent Venom. It's a Disney Store exclusive. This is of course Flash Thompson, possessed by the Venom symbiote, still cooking it looking like this with the Guardians of the Galaxy, I believe, in the comic books today. And for Marvel Select, it represents quite a leap compared to the Ultimate Venom in terms of articulation. I mean, sure, it's not Marvel Legends size superposability, but I believe Marvel Select are actually restricted to no more than 16 points of articulation contractually, so within those restraints, they're doing what they can. And now let's end this with my personal favourite Venom action figure ever. It's the Marvel Select Venom from the beginning of last year. So good, I named it my action figure of last year. Why? Well, look, you get a whole host of accessories with this one, so you can display a simple first appearance McFarlane style Venom. Alternatively, you can take it to the other end of the spectrum with a really elaborate Venom the Madness. In fact, the accessories allow you to capture so many different artistic depictions of Venom throughout the years that this Marvel Select embodies Venom action figure evolution. For a bit of this, and a bit of this. Oh no, not Banshee! Click here for the previous episode of Action Figure Evolution, featuring everybody's favourite mutant hunting robots, the Sentinels. Alternatively, check out the description beneath this video for links to my Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Click those links and connect with me there too. And don't forget to comment, rate, share and subscribe. I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.